Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Red Feather, and welcome to episode 8 of the concept reviews. And the last one was a bit interesting, and apologies that the others were a little bit shorter than normal, but that's because there was not as much content there. But this one might be as short. Sorry, but I'm doing the best I can. So, this one, we have the Abandoned DSC Military. Another one that sort of sets up a story or so. And this was actually an idea from one of my good old friends, Enter War, on Discord. He also has his own YouTube channel, which I will link in the description. So let's get away with another new Titan, the Mammoth. With this might be my most controversial concept I've ever worked on. Let's get into it. For DSC, as in the event, the first Titan to fire 4 alpha weapons simultaneously. This might be where it's controversial. Developed by the DSC Corporation, it's the true embodiment of unparalleled firepower and is a massive evolution to the behemoth. To maximize its frightening appearance, DSC used double the materials from Mammoth's frame. Despite being a tower of strength, it has a permanent lockdown effect when all of its weapons are active for safety reasons. So yeah, a Titan with 4 alpha weapons that can all be fired at once. I know the Ultimate Ming's got that, but that one's not as accessible as it usually is. So here's the ability, Titanic mode. Not to be a reference to the Titanic Reborn event from which was episode 4. The Titan elevates its tower and activates all 4 alpha weapons. While the Titan is elevated, it has a permanent lockdown effect to prevent it from moving. Titan anti-control can still activate, but cannot remove this effect. Now, the permanent lockdown is to balance it because the Behemoth, quite a while ago, it got buffed to the point where it can now move with all 4 of its weapons active, but it moves slightly slower. And back then, the Behemoth couldn't move at all when its weapons was active. So I preferably would call this a callback to the pre-buffed Behemoth. Lockdown immobilizes an enemy, but only immobilizes itself. 3-second cooldown. Secondary ability is Enrage. The Titan significantly increases its outgoing damage for a short time, but drastically increases the damage the Titan takes for a certain time. So, to those wondering what this is especially meaning, it's essentially meaning the Titan is is allowed to deal more damage, but while the duration is going off, the Titan takes more damage, which I think is a good drawback. When the ability ends, the Titan suffers the suppression effect, reducing its own damage. And this is another tidbit because it's already got itself so mad and powerful that once it calms down, it is a lot weaker and tires itself out. It's funny without the context, but whatever. The suppression reduces the damage by 35%, and that is with the 4-second duration when it ends. 20-second cooldown, deals 20% more damage, and takes 15% more damage. The suppression duration is 10 seconds, not the ability. The ability itself is a 4-second duration. HP is quite alright, and speed is 26, which could make this the slowest Titan out here. Class is Attacker, hard points 4 Alpha, like it said in the description, 4 Vengeance for default weapons, and then recommended equipment is 4 Sabers, which is the new weapon we'll get to. No new robot. Here we are, starting with the Javelin. From DSC, same faction, a weapon that fires single spears that explode on contact. Special technology allows the spears to stick to any surface, but it takes a bit of time for them to explode after it attaches onto something. While the spears are impaled into a robot, it will burst waves of cold air that freezes enemies. Now, the burst waves of cold air part is simply it's not, once it explodes, it doesn't release waves of air. It just, there's these little vents on the sides that emit a wave of cold. And they're explosive weapons, as shown here. And damage is 6,245, 500 meter range. It used to be 600, but I had to nerf it down with a specific weapon pair that's just like these weapons, but slightly different, which we'll get to in a future episode. 6-second effect duration, that's for the freeze. Time for explosion is 5 seconds, which means how long it will take for the spears after they're impaled into something before they explode. Like, you fire the spear, no, not spear, javelin, you fire it into a robot, and it's a 5-second delay before it detonates and deals its damage here. The effect accumulation is 130%. Burst damage, this one is a bit explaining. It's not the actual explosion, it's for the waves of cold air. That's how much damage it does. Burst range is 100 meters, so like if you're any closer than that after a javelin blows up, then you'll take the damage as well. 7-second reload for the beta slot. And the saber was the alpha. Unchanged, only thing is different are the stats. 7,527 damage. The accumulation is the same. 592 for its burst damage. Same thing. And then we get to the pilots. I should probably fix that. Starting with Andrei Kavasov. I think I might have butchered that, but I think that's how you pronounce it. For the Mammoth. Seasoned Warrior disables the lockdown effect and allows the Mammoth to move, but its outgoing damage is reduced by 10%. So what this means, if you have this pilot for the on your Mammoth, the lockdown effect when you use the ability is gone, so you'll be able to move, but you deal less damage. Towering Tactics, while Mammoth's durability drops to 50% or lower or below, it is immune to freeze and static effects by 50%. And then Order of the Freezing Wastes, which is going to be an interesting one. Weapons that apply the freeze effect deal 10% more damage. It would be a bit odd for me to have a skill that works with any weapon, Titan weapon, that can freeze, specifically the javelin. The javelin and sabers count as freezing weapons. So, yeah. And as well, and then the Oxy and Argon, favorite Titan rockets that really deserve the buff that the Cryo Rime and Glacier got. And now we move on to a new Zealot pilot, Ricardo Gonzalez. I don't know how to fully pronounce it, and this is going to be a controversial. Ricardo's enthusiasm. While the ability is active, Zealot is immune to damage for 1 second before teleporting, and its defenses are immune to defense mitigation. So this is controversial, but specifically Zealot is immune to damage for 1 second at max before it teleports. I wonder what you guys will think about it. If it was any longer, then that would make the pilot too broken. But I wonder what you guys will think about it just being immune for only a single second before it teleports. No mothership, turret or drone, but we got no paint job as well, but we got the title. The Abandoned DSC Military, complete all the tasks, will give you the Frozen Sergeant title. I don't know what other title would work here, so I just went with what I think would work. And now we on to the special editions. The Mammoth gets its special edition in the same update, like the Zealot from episode 7 for the Frosthide. This should tell you that this is sort of a Christmas event, not 100% sure. And then you may notice the Wraith finally gets a special edition, because I didn't feel like getting in an Ardent special edition would make any sense. Although I think it would, but the Frosthawk special edition I thought sounded better. Javelin and Saber get Frosthide like the Mammoth. Like the Mammoth, Migraine, Concussion, and Hammerhedge get the Frosthawk as well, like the Wraith. Again, like I said in episode 6, these might be my favorite weapons names I have ever come up with. And anyway, that's going to be it for the Abandoned DSC Military event overview. So, like I said in the previous view, let me know if you want to see these in the game, and would you use them or not. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.